It wasn't a big mega theater where we have 6 films playing here, right? It was just a one-time thing, and it just had such heart.
Dozens sharing their fond memories of the Roseway Theater this afternoon after the nearly 100-year-old theater went up in flames early Saturday morning. Welcome to KGW News at 5. I'm Christel Kumwe. Portland Fire and Rescue first got the call before 6 a.m. When they arrived, they found the building full of smoke and called for backup to battle the blaze. Alma McCarty went to see the aftermath. Now, Alma, how are people reacting?
Well, Christel, this is clearly just so much more than a movie theater to a lot of people. It's really a landmark and has been around since 1924. Those I spoke with hope it can be salvaged, although firefighters believe they'll have to totally rebuild.
Sirens and smoke filled the air in this part of Northeast Portland early Saturday morning.
The sirens woke me up this morning, and I thought, that's not good.
And neighbors who heard it or saw it from afar stopped to see what was burning on Northeast Sandy Boulevard.
The smoke was just billowing up in the sky. You could see it for a long ways away.
They soon found out the Roseway Theater was on fire. Portland Fire and Rescue brought in even more firefighters after the initial call.
Crews opened the door and there was fire inside. There's stairwells going downstairs as well. They were burnt out. We wanted to advance and try to fight this fire, but it was just too much.
Terry Foster with Portland Fire and Rescue explained the floor started to collapse and the fire began burning through the roof. Using aerial ladder trucks, crews poured water into the building to keep it from spreading.
From what I've seen from the aerial photos, they would have to rebuild the whole structure.
After extinguishing the flames, firefighters remained on scene to continue cooling hotspots.
We did keep it to the one structure. There may be some minor damage to the other structures, but it could have been a lot worse.
Several people stopped by to see the extent of the devastation to their beloved neighborhood theater.
This is a really special place to me and to my son, and we've come here many times, and it was such a neighborhood kind of place where it was just really, it felt very intimate to come here. We just live a few blocks away.
You know, I was lucky enough to go in here to see the Top Gun when after they did their remodel.
Just going in and getting the big bucket of popcorn and in the old-time feel and small and having Saturday matinees. The neighborhood, small theater is now gone.
As fire investigators work to determine the cause, neighbors pray this theater can be restored once again.
The inside is gutted because you can still see the burned wood and stuff on the top. I hope they have really good fire insurance too, because they're going to need it.
So, Alma, as of right now, firefighters don't know the cause.
That's correct. They said that it could take several days to determine that. And since it was closed, fire officials said they don't believe that anybody was inside, so no injuries to report at this time, but still very much a disappointment since it's just so clear that many people loved this place.
Wow, devastating. Thanks, Alma. We have a bit of good news in Wasco County, where evacuations have been downgraded by 1 level at the Miller Road fire. That means level 3 evacuations, which means go, are now level 2. And level 2s are now level 1. The fire near Maupin has burned more than 11,000 acres in at least one structure. It's 25% contained, and fire crews say they're cautiously optimistic as they make good progress. And portions of 4 national forests are now closed because of 3 fires burning southeast of Eugene. Parts of the Umpqua, Deschutes, Willamette, and Fremont-Wainema National Forests are closed, and that includes part of the Pacific Crest Trail, the Diamond Peak Wilderness, and Summit Lake. The Forest Service says the closure will allow crews to focus on fighting the flames instead of evacuating visitors. Now let's head to the Weather Center now, where we can join Joe Ranieri. And Joe, what else can you tell us about the wildfires?
Yeah, the winds are going to be picking up just a little bit over the next 12 to 18 hours. But Christelle, the red flag warning will be in place all weekend long throughout parts of the metro area and throughout the eastern side of the state as we look into our third heat wave of the summer. So here's a look at the current wind speeds. All is pretty quiet up and down the I-5 corridor, although down in southern Oregon over in Medford, you're seeing gusts up to about 20 miles an hour. Same with Newport along the central Oregon coast. You travel well inland over in John Day, you're seeing the gusts pick up a little bit as well. As we go to the later part of this evening, here the next couple of hours, we'll be seeing gusts here locally up to about 20, maybe 25 miles an hour. So not intense winds at all, but heading into tomorrow morning near Skamania along the Washington side of the gorge, you'll be seeing the winds pick up a little bit as well. And by tomorrow night and into the evening hours, we'll continue to see those winds a little bit on the breezy side through parts of the metro area. But as we look at the watches and warnings, fire weather warning will be in place until 9 o'clock tonight. But again, I think there's a good chance of seeing that extended. And we're also going to be under a heat advisory starting tomorrow at noon until Monday afternoon and Monday evening throughout much of the metro area and the eastern side of the state as we see temperatures jump up right around 100 degrees heading into tomorrow. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Joe. Now, Portland police released a new video of a shooting in Old Town early Friday morning. We're about to show you some clips, but please note, it might be hard to watch for some viewers. Now, here's what PPB says happened. Officers responded to a report of possibly armed individuals around Northwest 4th and Davis Street. The agency's surveillance plane responded to assist officers and captured the video you're currently seeing. Authorities say shots were fired after 2 a.m. So far, 2 suspects have been arrested and 2 guns have been seized. Investigators say they are still looking for more suspects. You can go to KGW.com to learn more about this story. Authorities are investigating a different homicide in Portland. Here's what we know so far. 1 person was killed overnight. Portland police responded to the area along North Schumer Road just after 2 a.m. So far, no arrests have been made, and anyone with information is asked to contact Portland police. Some members of Portland's Asian American community are raising concerns this weekend over a different shooting. They say a man was shot while tracking down his stolen car. Police are still investigating and many of the details have not yet been verified, but they claim officers were at the scene, but they left before the shooting happened. Here's Tim Gordon with more.
The meeting inside the restaurant was a chance for community members to be heard and ask some questions, even if there are not a lot of answers yet. The Portland Police Bureau does confirm that a shooting at Southeast 122nd and Holgate last Friday night injured 2 men. One of those men had gone to the location to retrieve his stolen car. That man is of Chinese descent, and according to leaders of the Chinese American community, he's still in the hospital with serious injuries. Neil Lee told us on Thursday that officers arrived and ultimately did not help the man get his car back. And after they left, Lee said a gunfight broke out. But at this point, it's unclear exactly who was shooting and why. Police are still investigating and not commenting about the details of the case. And we also can't say yet why officers cleared the scene when they did. That leaves people to wonder and want to be heard.
The message is that we need the police bureau and the city to listen to the community, because the community feels that they're not listened to and nothing's happening. So they want some assurances and some comfort to know that the police bureau and the city cares about the Chinese community, about the Asian community.
We also spoke with Portland Police Association President Aaron Schmautz, who came to the meeting. He said he understands the concerns coming from a community that has seen a surge in bias crimes in the past few years. And although there is a ways to go investigating this situation, including the police response, Schmautz says police need to do all they can to connect.
There's different timelines, and certainly investigative timelines don't meet up with the need to very quickly and transparently talk about impact on community. And so I think it's important for law enforcement to be available and to be able to hear and to be able to discuss what we can discuss and also build that trust.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
Now on to our continuing coverage on a story about an Uber driver who was badly hurt in a shooting that killed his passenger. That was several weeks ago. We are now hearing from the driver himself. Josiah Huel was driving for Uber the night of July 19th. He says as he was dropping off his passenger on North McClellan Street near Denver Avenue, a car pulled up and somebody inside started shooting. 3 bullets hit Josiah and 2 others grazed him.
The first round I instantly heard, I knew it was gunfire going over. It's a unique sound you'll never forget. It hit my driver's window and broke it. And then I got down and they started opening fire on us. Surprisingly, my passenger was able to get back into the car and tell me to drive. So I don't know how badly he got hit before he got in the car. And then we started driving and that's when he got hit fatally.
He spent a week in the hospital, and now that he's out, he says he's not sure if and when he'll go back to work for Uber. Now to an update on local elections. We could see a recount of primary results in the race for Washington's 3rd congressional district. Now this race is pretty close. The latest vote counts show Trump-endorsed challenger Joe Kent now less than 300 votes behind incumbent Jamie Herrera Butler. She's hanging on to the second place with 2.6% of the vote. This means Kent is less than a half a percentage point behind. Now Democratic challenger Marie Gluesenkamp on the left side of your screen there is firmly in first place, with the Associated Press projecting she moves on to November. Now, the Columbian reports that as of yesterday afternoon, Clark County officials said they had about 30,000 ballots left to process. The next update, however, won't come until Monday. In Washington, the top 2 candidates advance to the general election regardless of the party.